Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining this Meet the Members. We will start in 2 minutes as we have a lot of people registered and some are just connecting. So at 2:02, we start officially. Thank you. Okay, we have officially passed the 2 minutes regular delay. So to allow maximum of people to connect, but some will connect again. More people will connect. So thank you again for joining this Meet the Members. And now to start, I give the floor to our EGEC President, Miklo Santic. Floor is yours.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Miklo Santic. I'm the EGEC President. And I welcome you to this session of Meet the Members, unfortunately in virtual again. And I would like to welcome our 8 new members who will present themselves. And I'm very happy to congratulate them that they join EGEC. That means the interest for geothermal is growing among respectable companies who ignored or were involved little in geothermal. That means that geothermal is getting stronger by the presence of great companies who joined EGEC. Well, I will give the floor now to Philippe to moderate this session. So it's going to be a short session in 1 hour to introduce 8 members. It's a bit short, but then we'll go ahead and then there'll be questions and answers to be answered, and maybe depends on the time we have. But we are bound to finish at 3 o'clock because the annual general meeting is starting. So for other housekeeping, then Philippe will let you know. Okay, the floor is yours, Philippe. Thank you. And
thank you, Miklos.
Have a nice presentation.
Thank you. Indeed, maybe you have seen that it's the second edition of our Meet the Members. We have started this initiative indeed after this time of COVID-19, which has not allowed us to have a lot of networking opportunities, but we wanted still to provide this kind of services where we need to be more informed of who is doing what in the business, that we can grow the market all together. So today we have the pleasure of having 8 companies and entities having joined EGEC recently this year. And I will start now with the first one, which should be Nov, if I've been able to join.
I think we are going to start better, Philippe, with Geological Survey Ireland.
Okay. So indeed, there's some connection problems. So we start with Sarah Blake from the Geological Survey of Ireland. As you know, Geological Survey are a key actor for the development of geothermal in Europe, having all the knowledge of the data. Sarah, floor is yours.
Thank you. So you can see my screen? It's okay. Thank you, Philippe, for the introduction. So yes, I work in the geothermal program of Geological Survey Ireland. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. So we're a geological survey organization like any other. We're a direct division of the Department of the Environment, Climate and Communications. And our main product is freely available data and maps. So we cover bedrock, groundwater, etc., and also now geothermal energy. So some EGEC statistics on the geothermal sector in Ireland. There's not a whole lot going on. There's nothing going on the deep side. Just talk a little bit about the shallow side. We've had some more success. We've got a good number of systems installed, but actually year on year, the rate of take up is very slow. So we have a bit of work to do there. For our part, we have produced shallow geothermal suitability maps. So we understand our shallow geothermal resources quite well. There's just a bit of a push needed to get the uptake going. On the deep side, however, we don't understand the deep resources so well. We never had an onshore oil and gas boom in Ireland, so we didn't have the benefit of all of that deep subsurface data. We're also hampered by the fact that we don't currently have a legal or regulatory framework for geothermal energy. And then we also have a general public awareness of the resource, whereas we all know it has fantastic potential to help decarbonize, in particular, the heat sector, which is at the moment about 40% of our annual energy spend and over 90% fossil fuel driven. So how do we, in our position as a geological survey, how do we address these barriers? The thing at the top with the asterisk, geological uncertainty, so that's kind of our bread and butter. So we are focused on assessing data gaps, data acquisition, and we are currently developing a new geothermal database, so I'll touch on that more later. I just moved down the list to the general lack of awareness. So we have quite an active communications unit, and we're really pushing out with different products and leaflets to try and raise awareness and get geothermal talked about and get it included in the energy mix. We all know geothermal is not a new technology. However, deep geothermal is not proven in Ireland. So we've had no deep geothermal pilot projects. So we are scanning the horizon for opportunities to get funding, research funding, and we would like to have a public funded deep geothermal energy project to hold up as a flagship and to get the sector going, really. And then the last thing is, by no means the least problem, the lack of regulation and policy. So I'll talk about that now. So we got geothermal included in the discussion for our National Climate Action Plan in 2019. And out of that, we had the mandate then to go off and look at geothermal district heating for Ireland. And our colleagues in the department actually produced a roadmap towards a policy and regulatory framework. So this is a multi-annual plan of work at the end of which we will have a geothermal law and regulations for the geothermal industry. So our piece in all of that is to act as scientific advisors to the policymakers. And then also we're going to prepare this national geothermal database. So we're currently in the sort of design phase. So we're doing lit reviews and things like that. But we want it to be very end user focused. So we're looking at industry, public government, and of course our researchers. So that's why joining an organization like EGEC is fantastic, because we'll get input from all of you stakeholders, you know, have a look around, see what works, what doesn't in terms of public data and databases. So just a few activities coming down the line. We're going to release new deep temperature maps at the end of this week. And we are holding a half-day virtual workshop on the 19th of October to kind of showcase the work, the geothermal R&D that we fund. And also, we also do some of that research. So we want to kind of showcase all of that and the policy work that's ongoing and get a discussion going. So if any of you feel interested in checking out the geothermal sector in Ireland, such that it is at the moment, please drop me a line and I can send you a link. You're more than welcome to join. Our draft policy document is out for public consultation at the end of the year. So if any of you feel like you're a stakeholder, you're interested in the development of the geothermal sector in Ireland, please do also drop me a line and I'll get you on the mailing list. And then we're hoping to start pushing out some new geothermal database products from late next year. So that's really a lot that we have going on, but thank you for letting me share it with you. And I look forward to the discussion later.
Thank you, Sarah. Indeed, really interesting. And I'm sure at Ireland, we know that as a potential is just to have the right market conditions, and we see the first deep geothermal project within the next 10 years for sure. Now I'm giving the floor to Dennis Berg from Netherlands and from the company HP Wellscreen. So Dennis, the floor is yours. You can unmute.
Can everybody see this?
Yes, we can see and we can hear you. Floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I'm Dennis. I'm with HP Wellscreen, and I'd like to present our products and services for the geothermal and general industry we are in, and like to thank EGEC for the opportunity to do the presentation. Where's the next? I'll give a small introduction, short introduction about HP Wellscreen. I'll tell something about the markets we are active in, some of the advantages of our products, and some references, and then questions can be sent after the whole program, I understand. HP Wellscreen started in 1991, but has been active since 1983. At that time, it was Houston Well Engineering. We have been an independent manufacturer ever since. It's a family-owned company, and we are located in the Netherlands, which is our main office, and we have a subsidiary in Abu Dhabi, a company called Wellslot. The activities we are involved in are manufacturing of screens, slotted liners, perforated liners, and we also do inflow control. Inflow control is more related to other markets, so I'm not going to tell more about that. We have a long history, so we've installed quite a few screens all over the years. We are manufacturing several items, and we supply not only to operators, but we also provide to traders, service companies, engineering companies. And we have a close contact with the engineering companies as well to do some modeling on the design for the screens required. We have in-house engineering, and we do design and validation testing. The markets we are involved in is oil and gas, geothermal and water well, high performance filtration and architecture. Geothermal and water well, we have been in since the beginning of the European peak, I would say, on geothermal. Been providing in several countries from Scandinavia down to South Europe, but also in Africa and Indonesia. What are the advantages of HP Wellscreen? Well, we're an independent and privately owned company, meaning we're pretty small. The communication lines are short. We don't have huge staffs, many offices, etc. So we can keep our cost pretty low. We are very creative in manufacturing different types of screens. We are not focusing on only a few standard screens. We can make a large variety and make it fit for purpose for the project it is required for. We're very flexible in our design, and we have people working with us for many, many years. And since we have the experience from not only oil and gas and geothermal and water well, but also on general filtration, we have a very good understanding on how to separate solids and how to prevent from clogging a well, or also make the right design based on the corrosion parameters in the well, because there's a lot of influence from CO2, salt, H2S. So we can calculate quite a lot for the wells you are working on. We have quite short delivery times because we have a large database of where to source our base pipe materials for the wells, and we have a good cooperation with our base material suppliers, and we also keep stock. So if needed, we can modify a screen and also work a little bit on the production capacity in the workshop and see if we can find some gaps. Well, what are the benefits we can provide as well? Sand control by means of screens. If you have a good sand control, you have a better producing well, you prevent from having wear on your production units. We provide retrievable screens, We have new options in our portfolio where we work on all the time. We are in very close contact with TNO and work on corrosion-free solutions. Like I mentioned before, modeling and testing is also one of the things we can help out with if there's any need for that. The types of screens we provide, we can have a screen in standalone well, meaning there's a natural sandpack around the screen in an open hole situation. We can provide screens for open hole but a gravel pack situation, and we can provide screens for cased hole situations. You see a few of these screens we manufacture outlined in the above. You see a slotted liner, you see a wire-wrapped screen, you see a premium screen, and you see an example of a swellable. Swellables are also within our portfolio and can help a lot on separating different sand layers in a geothermal well to prevent from mixing and make sure you have a good sand screen which is functioning well. Well, some of the references, like I mentioned, we're not only in oil and gas, but also geothermal and very close to water well. We work with drilling contractors. We work with all the greenhouses. There's a large variety of companies we cooperate with, and therefore, yeah, we would be highly interested to hear if we can be of help for your projects and see where we can provide a good working, corrosion-free geothermal well. That's it for now. If there's any questions, you can either ask them at the end of this, or you can send an inquiry to our email address mentioned below. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Really clear presentation, and I hope a lot of contact for you with this nice presentation about your services. And now I'm back to the presentation, and the next one, if I'm right, is node completion and production solutions. So from Nov, who will be the speaker? NOV. There's a technical issue. Okay, so we move to.
Hang on.
Okay, now you have. Okay.
Yeah. Consuela, do you have the presentation?
Of course. Give me 1 second.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the delay. It was 7 a.m. in Houston, and I got caught out by the traffic.
No problem. Floor is yours.
Come in. Cool. Well, good morning, everybody. So my name's Tony Pink. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of NOV Wellbore Technologies, and also the lead inside our company for geothermal. You know, excited to be on this call. I am based in Houston, but you can tell from the accent that I'm actually from UK, and potentially moving back to UK because of the geothermal focus in the Eastern Hemisphere. NOV is a equipment manufacturer primarily, but we do provide services. And obviously, we have been service providers and equipment providers to the geothermal industry worldwide for decades. But obviously, with the pivot and the excitement that's coming out of geothermal at the moment. And I just came from Dubai from the annual technical conference for the Society of Petroleum Engineers, and I did a presentation on geothermal, and the room was absolutely packed. So it's fantastic. So Consuelo's put up the slide for our portfolio. These are the customers that we've been supplying worldwide, and it's it really is comprehensive. Yeah. So next click, please, Consuelo. So we have three main strategies. Is really to take a lot of technology that we've had both for geothermal today that we've been doing for the last few decades, and oil and gas, and really rejuvenate that technology and apply it to the geothermal market. We see, as you see on the picture here, one of the big successes we've recently had was with a geothermal project for the Department of Energy in Utah, where the well was planned for 180 days, and we took it down to 60 days by using polycrystalline diamond compact technology to drill granite. And we've really got a couple of leap forwards in technology that I think, with the size and the cost of the deep geothermal wells and the hard rock wells, I think we're really going to have a massive impact on the economics of those wells. Click forward a few more, Consuelo. Cool, thank you. Yeah, hold there. So really, we have a product set that is fit for purpose for geothermal, up to 175 degrees centigrade to drill any rock that be required. So that's everything that you need to do that downhole. We're typically a product company, so we tend to partner with a geothermal company rather than be a turnkey geothermal operator ourselves. So geothermal companies out there that would like to manage and own their own business, we provide all the kit for them. Next one, please, Consuelo. And then, what we believe is there's a lot of tech, particularly digital and applications in rig technology and the ability to do drilling optimization that can really help across the board for the geothermal. So sophisticated drilling applications and automated control really give us the opportunity to do that minute control of drilling on these challenging rocks to improve performance. Next one, please. And then we've got some, fantastic new technology coming out. Here you see an example of an industrialized robot, which is relatively low cost compared to a lot of drilling robots, so that we can do automation on a geothermal rig at a good cost base to make sure that the hands working these rigs, where the tubulars come out extremely hot, don't get burnt in the process in handling the tubulars. So we have a fully robotic rig floor that's there for the safety and the efficiency of the operation. Next one, please. That should be me done. Yeah. And then all the kit you need for completions. We've been doing a lot of work across Europe, both on our TK liners, which are the liners for tubing in the Netherlands, in the production of in the greenhouse geothermal arena, protecting the piping from corrosion from the produced fluids. So close out, we really we have a product set across the whole board of the creation of a geothermal well. We are not focused on the surface equipment and the production facilities, though we do have some getting that. Thank you very much. I will post my email on the message board to me personally as the geothermal lead. Feel free to reach out, and I will be in Iceland in a couple of weeks' time, and hopefully meet some of you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. Really nice to have you here. And now we are moving on, but we have Adrock company. Yeah. Adrock, floor is yours. Now who's presenting?
All right, yeah, I'll just
Gordon, yeah.
share the screen. Yeah, okay, yeah, so we're Adrock. We're a geophysical exploration company, a technology company with the purpose of trying to make the world a better place by better understanding what lies beneath the Earth's surface. So any natural resources is what we explore for. So the big problem with the subsurface is there's lots of stuff. There's rocks, minerals, gas, fluids. There's different temperatures and densities, etc. So I mean, and it's constantly changing. So it's a very complex world. So the solution that we've come up with is to try and remotely identify all these factors from the ground surface ahead of drilling, to try and help guide the drillers to place the drills for de-risking their exploration and drilling programs. So the examples of our outputs, we produce what we call a virtual borehole. So this is a digital electronic borehole measurement of the subsurface. So these sort of one-dimensional columns through the grounds are equivalent to petrophysics measurements from the ground surface. This is all ahead of drilling, before drilling, to try and get a better understanding of what lies beneath the ground. So we can measure the lithology, we can measure the different changes in conductivity in the ground as well. We can measure water content, and also we can measure temperature as well. We can do heat maps of the subsurface as well. With minerals for mining companies, we can target sulfides in particular. That's a very good conductor for our measurements. So we can pinpoint exactly where the location of different zones of mineralization are in the ground, which is great. And more recently, we've been working with temperature. We realized that there's a relationship between conductivity, electromagnetic conductivity, and temperature in the subsurface. So we've been using Stefan Boltzmann's laws to build up that relationship and figure out where the temperature gradients are in the subsurface. This is an example from Newcastle in the UK. So we can also measure as I mentioned, the temperature gradients, the changes with depth. These are our measurements here, the ball measurements here. So the changes in conductivity through depth. Again, this is another example. This is the northeast of Scotland, and we can measure the changes in depth with the temperature. So the technology that we use electromagnetic techniques. We use radio waves with the frequency of 1 to 100 megahertz, depending on how deep you want to go in the ground. So we send these radio waves into the ground as pulses. We get the reflections back from different changes in the subsurface. So whenever there's a difference in dielectrics or conductivity, we get a ping back to the surface, which we capture and dissect and turn it into important information. So that's a static scan. We can, with the static scans as well, we can measure the movement or flow of fluids in the subsurface. We can also measure the levels, the vertical thickness levels up and down of fluids in the ground as well. So if you're looking for water, which is related to temperature, that's important. So we're quite a mature technology company. We've got robust technology workflows, and we go on a stage-gated approach so that we don't proceed with anything until we're completely satisfied with our workflows. And we've figured out, using our technology databases and neural networks, different fingerprints for different materials. based on our returns, our energy frequency and phase returns. So we can pinpoint different levels of nickel, copper, sulfide, gold, etc. with mineralization. And we can also do this with temperature as well. And also the rock types as well, if you're interested in telling whether it's a sandstone or a limestone or a granite, we can tell the difference using our lithology databases as well. So we've been all around the world. I mean, we are still quite a young, old technology company. I mean, we're 22 years into our business. So we're headquartered in Edinburgh in Scotland. We've got a satellite office in Houston, just outside Houston in Austin, Texas. We've got one in Brisbane and one in Vancouver in Canada. So we've been servicing lots of companies worldwide. We've got lots of repeat business with these clients as well. Lots of them are key accounts, and we're a key vendor to the companies. And also, as of last year, we're getting into our final stages of our B Corporation classification as well. So we're technically a net zero company. We operate as a net zero carbon footprint company. So our typical footprint of a survey is very low. It's only 4 tons equivalent of carbon, which we then offset against. We offset by planting trees worldwide to offset that carbon footprint for every single survey. So that's a major impact. And if anybody's interested, we've got loads of case studies on our website, so you can jump on there. And you can contact me as well, and I can happily walk you through different case studies. So I mean, in terms of our offering, our value propositions, that we're very cost effective. We save up to 90% of the cost of exploring using physical drilling, and we reduce the need for lots of exploratory drills. We're convenient, we're very fast, we turn around results within days as opposed to weeks, and we're environmentally friendly. As I mentioned, we're a net zero carbon footprint company. So thank you for allowing us to present. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gordon. Really interesting presentation. And now we are going on to France with Lithium de France. I don't know who will be the speaker. Guillaume.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. All right, so thank you for this opportunity to present today. My name is Guillaume Borehole, and I actually have very recently joined the Lithium de France team. It's really a matter of days, so you could say the ink is still wet. It's been only a few days after a long 25 years plus career in mostly the oil and gas service industry all around the world. So I'm going to start by trying to answer the question, what is Lithium de France? First of all, and if you have to remember just 4 things about this short presentation, short introduction, I think these are the four ones right here. First of all, we are a team of subsurface and operational experts coming from both the oil and gas and the geothermal industries. So a bit of a mixed team, either on the service side or on the operator side. So that's who we are. Our ambition is actually twofold. First, we want to make geothermal heat a pillar of the energy transition. That means district heating, industrial heating, and agricultural heat. Second, the second ambition is to create a French production and distribution industry for low carbon lithium in order to support the global e-mobility transition. And finally, one of our core values is we are deeply integrated in the local economic tissue. And so we plan to contribute this way to the development of the industrial development of the territories in which we operate. So I think that's really is the key 4 takeaways, if you want, of what really is Lithium de France about. So how we plan to do this? It's an integrated process between the geothermal side and the lithium extraction. At the center of this is the geothermal brine, and it's all about creating value in all sorts of ways from this geothermal brine. One, by extracting the heat. So we start with a doublet of wells. We extract the heat and distribute it to local users. So very short and local cycle. Then before reinjecting this brine, we go through a direct lithium extraction process in order to extract what will be a high concentrated, at the end, the output of that will be a highly concentrated lithium chloride solution that will then further refine in order to provide to the gigafactories of batteries. So the idea is to produce battery grade lithium through this process. But then again, it's an integrated process. So there's no lithium without geothermal, there's no geothermal without lithium. That's our approach. We have a very ambitious timeline. Lithium de France was born about 1.5 years ago. We are a member of the Arven group of companies, which I'll talk about on the next slide, headquartered today in Bischwiller in northern Alsace in France. While we are initially focused on the Alsace region, we have an ambition to exploit and extract value out of geothermal brine wherever there is value to be extracted on the French territory. Our timeline is shown here. So we currently have our licenses under final stages of instruction, and in parallel, we're starting various stages of pilot tests for evaluation and extraction technologies for the lithium. We plan to be start to be in full operation by 2025. A quick word on the Arven group. So as I mentioned, Lithium de France is the youngest member of the family, and we are joining 2 other companies in the group. The first one is Arven Drilling, which whose activity is to drill wells. So it's a drilling company and do any sort of well works with a focus on the large project in the energy transition field. The second company is Arven Resources, whose main activity is really the transformation of oil fields, and read by that the rehabilitation of oil fields to facilitate and accelerate the transition to a world after oil, post-oil era, if you want to put it this way. And then the third one, Lithium de France, who we've been talking about. And I was asked to keep it very, very short, so that's exactly what I did. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guillaume. And indeed, quite interesting to see the focus of your company, and hope a lot of success for your next steps and good projects.
Thank you.
And now we are going to Rodrigo Rendon from Kcra Deutsche Drilling GmbH. Rodrigo, the floor is yours.
Hi, Philippe. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I confirm.
Good. And can you see my screen?
Yes, not in full screen mode yet, but soon I'm sure. Here it is.
Good. Okay. So yeah, thank you for making time for this quick introduction. just making sure that I'm on time. Yeah, so we're Kcra Deutsche Drilling. We are a drilling contractor. We've been working onshore and offshore in Europe, Middle East, Africa primarily, with in the onshore side with a fleet of circa 80 rigs that are active at the moment. So for Europe, we've worked in Germany, Netherlands, Poland, UK, Spain, which, as per some of the geothermal data we've seen, are some of the very important geothermal geographies. And that's really why we joined EGEC, because we see geothermal being ever more important within the European business. And we really think we can add something productive to the geothermal value chain. What is what we can add? Well, Kcra Deutsche traditionally has been known for its safe, effective, and trouble-free operations. So that's really what we want to bring to the geothermal industry in Europe. We are beginning to recognize, and I say it not with any shame, on the significant differences between oil and gas and geothermal, and we are adapting our business to meet the specific demands of the geothermal market, while really having a lot of focus in keeping the operational efficiency and the safety that are key items that are behind the Kcra Deutsche name. So what what we've done in geothermal? Since 2013, we have drilled 18 geothermal wells in Europe. That's across primarily, and you'll see on the next slide, Germany, Netherlands, and Switzerland. Most of our rigs in Europe are suited for mid-range to deep wells. That is not to say that we are not interested in the slightly more shallow wells. We own an equipment manufacturer that is a rig builder. So with the right project economics, we could also set up a project to put in place a lighter rig. But for now, most of our assets are geared towards the mid-range and deep drilling. And the way we're adapting our business is traditionally, we've been really just focused on providing drilling services, so providing the rig and providing the drilling crew that goes on the rig. What we are looking now is basically establishing partnership and establishing alliances with other players in the geothermal European industry to try to offer a wider range of well construction activities. So what that will do for a geothermal operator is, in general, it will lower well cost, and it will also help to reduce contractual interfaces, because it's something that we recognize geothermal producers do not want to do in comparison to oil and gas. So we are looking basically to take on more services, either direct or subcontracted to us, so we can basically cover a wider scope within the geothermal drilling service. Just to give you an idea a little bit in more detail of the projects that we have participated, you have a list there. Within that, I pick up the 3 rigs that had been basically doing most of the drilling. And you see NPT stands for non-productive time. So this is within the circle, the non-productive time that is related to the rig. Basically, the time that the rig uptime, and what that number tells us, 1.66, is our rig, due to a fault on the equipment or a fault on our responsibility, it's only down for 1.6 of the operating time. So that really speaks to the to the operational efficiency I was talking about. And just to add to that, we are extremely conscious on the demands to work in Europe, and our assets and our way of working can meet that. So from a CO2 reduction perspective, most of our rigs in Europe are electrified. They connect directly to the grid. If there will be one that for any reason is not able to connect to the grid or needs some backup, we are putting in place real-time measurement systems that allows us to estimate the amount of CO2 emissions that the rig and the drilling activities are responsible for. And based on that, we aim to reduce it. There are a couple things that are very important for a rig to work in Europe. One of them is noise reduction. As we all know, some of the drilling takes place very close to populated areas. And because of the same reason, the rigs need to have a small location footprint, which our assets are also able to provide. So yeah, trying to keep it simple and short in 3 slides. We really want to be a part of the European geothermal industry and take a greater share of the drilling in that, and work with other companies in the supply chain to provide a more comprehensive well construction service. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you very much, Rodrigo. Indeed, quite interesting to see such a large company now doing more in geothermal. And now we are moving on to a new company, Kcra. You're still muted. We cannot hear you, Glenn. We can see your screen, but we cannot hear you yet.
There we go. I'm mouthing to myself. I think you can hear me now.
Yes, perfect. Great. Just the presentation is not yet in full screen mode, but
very good. Good to see you again, Gordon. So yeah, Glyn Williams. I'm the CEO of Kcra, and on behalf of Kcra and my colleague Ian Hunter, I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of Kcra's activities in the area of geothermal. I can move forward. Good. Kcra, in fact, who we are. We believe we are, by scale, the global leading independent provider of fiber optic data-powered solutions. We've got a complete suite of fiber optic technologies, which include distributed acoustic sensing, distributed strain sensing, and distributed temperature sensing. All of them, we believe, are best in class compared to their peers in the market. And because of the high resolution and high definition of the data sets, we're able to solve the most challenging mission-critical challenges, we believe, in the alternative energy, mining, environmental and earth sciences, infrastructure, and oil and gas. And because these markets are different, we've actually built different domain-specific teams that are able to deliver the solutions to the customers. And with this, we believe that we're able to provide actionable insight into the assets, increase efficiency, prevent loss, reduce operational costs, and extend lifespans. We are an SME. We are backed by Equinor and Chevron and another oil services private equity investor, Lime Rock Partners. And we have quite a big presence in both Europe and North America. In terms of distributed fiber optic sensing for the newcomers, it's a light-based measurement system. We use the power of about a 100-watt light bulb to launch a pulse of laser into an optical fiber, and reflections from the fiber are able to characterize a change in temperature, strain rate, or strain. And when I talk about strain rate, one way of interpreting that measurement is also it's a distributed acoustic sensor. It's a highly high-resolution microphone that can be placed over many, many kilometers of fiber. So it gives us high-density spatial sampling, a very wide aperture coverage, a large measurement range over tens of kilometers. In the offshore area, we have developed systems to work over 100 kilometers in linear distance, and we're able to give simultaneous measurements all the way along an optical fiber. So it's a very wide aperture array system. And within the geothermal space, this is what we provide.
Kcra GeoTH maximizes operational efficiency and safety. The system is cost-effective and also helps operators comply with legal requirements. Fiber optic cables, installed in the geothermal wells, deliver Ultra HD acoustic, temperature, and strain data, allowing an accurate insight into the reservoir throughout the lifetime of the facility. Microseismic monitoring ensures the safety of operations by verifying the integrity of the reservoir. The fiber optic cables are installed at the time of well completion. Seismic surveys are carried out with minimal effort due to the system's high dynamic range and provide accurate information on reservoir stimulation with minimal environmental impact. Kcra GeoTH also monitors temperature evolution, fracture networks, including flow distribution, as well as potential reservoir deformation. This enables dynamic reservoir injection and production optimization. Kcra GeoTH also provides real-time monitoring of induced or natural occurring seismicity. The real-time processing and visual presentation of ultra-high-definition acoustic, strain, and temperature data allows informed decision-making.
So this technique's been built on many of the techniques that we've developed over many years in the upstream oil and gas sector, particularly perhaps some of it originating from our purpose hydraulic fracturing group in Houston. This is one of our flagship operations. This is maybe familiar to many of us on this call, but we are working on the Utah Forge Utah project, which is funded in part by the DOE, and this is really an underground laboratory for the development and testing of innovative tools and techniques for advanced environmental systems. And beyond this, we're also involved in a number of European projects, which include also the Succeed activities, very interesting in Iceland, where we're actually monitoring both the production of geothermal energy, but also the storage of carbon, which is produced associated with the geothermal energy. And then, in summary, the solution comprises 3 separate distributed measurements: distributed temperature sensing, distributed acoustic sensing, distributed strain sensing. This allows stimulated reservoir imaging. It allows us to detect induced seismicity. It allows us to follow the flow profiling of the movement of fluids along the well bores. At all time monitors well integrity. It images any faults that are created during stimulation or perhaps during production. And it also can monitor the heat exchanger performance. It's comprised of 3 independent distributed systems, and these do create a lot of data. Typically on a program where we're collecting data across all the 3 systems, which are asynchronous in both time and depth, we can be collecting up to 5 terabytes of data. So therefore, we have developed an edge platform to allow on-site processing and storage, but then this allows us then to connect remote users to the edge platform, move data into the cloud for storage and further computing, and also full bandwidth streaming to off-site servers. And the benefits allows us to meet all the regulatory requirements for monitoring. It's a robust solution suited to the hostile environments of enhanced geothermal systems. It's a large spatial array giving comprehensive and detailed characterization of the reservoir. We believe it's the most cost-effective solution requiring lower seismic source power for 4D imaging. It does have a significant environmental benefit that we don't require huge, noisy, invasive seismic sources. And it allows continuous or perhaps on-demand monitoring, capable of remote operation, and it's inherently reliable because of the components are purely optical fibers or silica in the well. And that brings me to the conclusion. So thank you, and we look forward to having some interest from the groups of this workshop.
Thank you very much, Ken. Yes, it's really interesting to see indeed all the presentation we had today. We are planning to have the last one from Vulcan Energy, but I see that there's nobody yet able to join. So what we have, which remains 5 minutes, if you want, please use the chat to exchange your contact details feel free. Also, if you agree, we will share these contact details to all the participants, your business cards, indeed, the thing that we are used to do when we are meeting and networking physically. So if you want, feel free to use the chat to share your business card. We really thank, indeed, all the new members. Today in EGEC, we have now 143 members, including 20 national associations. So we are much more than representing 500 entities. And it's a good trend because just in 1 year, we have 20 new members. So indeed, we are seeing a big trend in developing geothermal energy in Europe. So I really thank you all for attending this meeting. As you know, we have now a virtual annual general meeting. We are a non-profit organization in the form of an association, and we have to organize annually our meeting to have the members approving the activities, the reporting, and the accounting. Frankly, I hope that it's the last time we have only virtual meet the members. We hope that from next year we'll be able to have probably not only physical but hybrid, because we see that the hybrid event we are able to have people also joining from all over Europe. To conclude this Meet the Members, I give back the floor to our president, Miklos Santic from EGEC, and at 3 o'clock, I just kindly ask the people connecting today, we are not members of EGEC, to disconnect because the AGM is only for the members. Miklos, the floor is yours for the conclusion.
Yes, well, thank you so much for your great presentations, which I hope they capture the attention of the attendees. We are actually there were more than 60 attendees to this meeting, and I'm very, very proud and happy that companies with so great traditions and also the National Geological Survey of Ireland joined us, and this strengthens the EGEC, as Philippe said, that we are now at 123 members, and by this way we can unite forces to pursue the geothermal decarbonation of heating, cooling, and energy sector in Europe, and not only elsewhere, where we can put in value our knowledge and our skills. Thank you so much. We are passing now to the AGM, I guess.
Yeah, we have 2-minute break, and at 3 o'clock we start officially the AGM. So thank you all again.
Thank you.